Okay, this fight is about Billy Joe Saunders against Jarrod Fletcher. First of all, Billy Joe Saunders, out of the three Olympians, James DeGale, Frankie Gavin, and himself, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't got as much publicity as the other two guys. But he's, started his career very brightly and has done well. He's now picked up the Commonwealth title with a good win against Bradley Price. Showed very good hand speed, good power, general good boxing skill. And when I heard about this fight against Jarrod Fletcher, I think it was last week, I saw him first on Box Nation. I looked at the guy, I thought, "God, this guy looks a bit of a tough nut." Just looked at him, he looked like a tough nut. But I thought, they've just brought him over Commonwealth defence against some Aussie. It's probably a bum anyway, although he looks tough. Saunders will get rid of him in a couple of rounds, 4 or 5 rounds, put a good fight. But then, I said, you know what, let me have another look at this Jarrod Fletcher again. When I look back to his amateur pedigree, fought in the Commonwealth Games, beating James DeGale on the way to winning a Commonwealth gold medal, and also Stevenson, who is, I think it's at 11-0 as a pro at the moment, and has got dynamite in both fists, super middleweight. And Stevenson's ranked 8 by the WBA, and we all know that James DeGale is European champion. So going back and look at Jarrod Fletcher, and he's unbeaten as a pro now. He's 10-0 or 11-0, something like that. He's unbeaten, carries a good pop, and he's got good hands, good counter puncher. This is the making for a very good fight. And I know British fans or fight fans like to say, "Oh well, who's that other guy? If you've never heard of him, who's that other guy? He's a bum. He's going to get knocked out." And there are guys who come over with unbeaten records, and they don't look that good, and they get knocked out, and they say, "Oh well, it was an unbeaten fight. It'd be 8 for anybody," but his amateur pedigree is pretty good, and of course Billy Joe Saunders has got a good amateur record as well. But this fight, it's gonna be an interesting fight. Is there a possibility of an upset? Yeah, there is, because I say Fletcher does carry good power, and he's a good counter puncher, and Billy Joe Saunders does like a bit of a tear up, but he boxed well against Bradley Price. Who do I think is going to win the fight? Well, this is a mandatory fight. This is not a voluntary fight. This is a mandatory for the Commonwealth title. And Jarrod Fletcher obviously believes he can win the fight. He's been over here 10 days before the fight, so he's been preparing well. He's just come in there with 2 days' notice and come in and, overseas. He's come in and he's prepared right. So I think it's a good fight. I think Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter. I think that Billy Joe Saunders could win this fight late on. I don't know how well Jarrod Fletcher does the weight, but for me, Fletcher's got the skills here. He's got the skills to outbox Billy Joe Saunders. The short counter shots as Saunders comes in, and if it makes it into a brawl, and if in his amateur fight we had against James DeGale tried to take the fight to him, and he was very good on the counter. So he has got tremendously good boxing skill. He was shaken up by Stevenson and dropped by Stevenson in the amateur bout. I haven't seen much of him in the professional ranks, to be fair. But from what I've seen, it's going to be a close one. I think this fight will go to points. Or a late stoppage for Billy Joe Saunders. Yep, I'm going to go for a late stoppage for Billy Joe Saunders. Even though I think Jarrod Fletcher's a good fighter, I'm going to go with Billy Joe Saunders. I just think he carries the more power in this fight. And I think that Billy Joe Saunders is going to push it in this fight. This is going to be a tough fight, but I just think down the stretch Billy Joe Saunders is going to win this. And I'm looking for a late stoppage from Billy Joe Saunders to retain the title. At first I thought there'd be I think there'd be an upset, and there is a possibility of an upset here, but I think with some shrewd matchmaking and the guys that are looking after Billy Joe Saunders, they could easily have pulled out of this title defence, although it's mandatory. Look, both guys need to be given the utmost credit for taking the fight. It's going to be a good fight, but I'm going to say Saunders late or points win. Okay, but Jarrod Fletcher is going to be there, and he's going to be giving Saunders the best fight that he's had since turning pro. So that's me. I'm out.